Hey guys, Henry and Melinda here. I wanted to come to you guys with a quick update. This is kind of an addendum to the full training. So this is some free training for the group for those of you guys that have not moved forward and actually, move forward into the full training and you've only had a chance to check out the first initial 3 modules. I'd encourage you to do that, but this is something that we can build off of. And I wanted to show you what the actual, what the ad that we were running in the training is doing, in real time as far as the leads that are being generated. And more than that, I want to show you how you would take this particular ad set that is performing very, very well and scale it, right? So this is going to be good for you guys. This particular one, and you can see here, is doing really, really well. And over the lifetime, which I guess we launched the training on July 3rd. So if I were to go to the 3rd to the 24th and show that, from that period, we've generated 29 leads at a cost of $5.41 per lead. Because I had, generated just a handful, a few leads prior to actually launching the training. But if I were to go ahead and, move into the lifetime view, 33 leads at $5.66 per lead, right? And it was actually started on June 27th was the actual day. So $186.65 spent has provided us 33 leads for the ad set and the targeting that we used, which was, ages 32 through 54, all, so men and women, sustainability, local food, and photovoltaic. Scrolling on over here, my cost per click is tremendous at 74 cents. Actual cost per, the actual click-through rate itself per link click is at 1.31%, which is great. All of these numbers and my CPM, my cost per mile, cost per 1,000 impressions is only costing me $9.69. So awesome stuff. All of these numbers look great, and what happens when your numbers look great? Well, if you're a lone ranger and you're an individual and these leads are keeping you busy, then that's great. It's costing you $10 a day to stay busy and to garner and have some conversations with some potential individuals, plus email drip those individuals you're not able to get a hold of and mature them over time. It may take a month, 2 months, or whatever for them to become ready, because remember, they're on your time, or they're on their time, not your time. But regardless, say if you were a solar sales company or if you were a sales and marketing organization, and you had the need to scale this, it'd be pretty easy to do at this point. Now you could slow scale it by simply changing your daily budget to the tune of 20% per day. If it still holds true, then obviously what you could do at that point is you could take this and you could duplicate the actual ad set and associate a $50 budget from the get-go. And you could see if those numbers hold true as well. So anyhow, but what I want to show you here is something a little different. Now, this is from the perspective, hey, this is going really, really well. And what I want to do is I want to scale this really, really big because I have some potential partners. And now, I could perhaps reach out to additional solar companies and sell them leads, etc. I want to scale this big, and I want to show you how you can begin to scale it big pretty simply. So once again, we really liked this ad set, so the first thing we did is we saved the ad set, right? And I did that before, I apologize, but it's very simple. You simply click on the ad set that is working good for you, use the pencil, and apologies because this is somewhat of a recap. I want to go in a little bit more granular detail on it. This was covered in the full training, but I've had some questions about it, so I just wanted to recap it real quick. And apologies if I'm moving along fast. I'm doing this, mainly to show what has happened, with this ad set, and speak to some questions that I'm getting from individuals that have actually moved forward into the full training instead of just the 3 first modules. So, remember my potential reach for this was 840,000. My daily budget is $10. Scrolling down a little bit more, here's my interest. But what I did was I saved this particular audience. So, you can save the audience from this area. Simply, normally what you would see is in this area right here that we were just in, it would basically say save audience. If you like it, you save it. Once you save it, the audience is captured inside of Facebook, and it's available to be seen in this location right here. If you click on the hamburger, scroll over to all tools, and go into your audiences tab, you're going to see your saved audience. And remember, I basically said when you like an audience after you've tested it and the numbers show true, go ahead and save that audience so that you have that audience available. Now we're going to take the next step. Now what I did is I already jumped the gun, because as I started doing this, I thought, well, this might be perfect to answer some of the questions that I had last week on my one-on-one support calls with some of you guys that are moved forward into the actual training. Having a great time on those calls, by the way. A lot of great questions, and I will recap the questions for the group for added value to you guys a little later in the week. But this is one video that I wanted to just create for you today. So from here, this was the save audience. You'll notice the audience type, saved audience, and I have a custom audience that I created. That custom audience is really the next step, right? So, pretend we didn't have the custom audience listed here, and all we had was a one saved audience that we would have. In order to create a custom audience, you simply put a check in the box, and you select in the drop down, and you select on custom audience. Now it will take the audience that you selected, and it'll basically say, how do you want to create this new custom audience, right? And there's a few different ways that you could do it. I could create a custom audience for any one of these, for any one of these. And what I basically did is, for the purpose of this, I'm going to go ahead and select on, website traffic. And so the custom audience that I'm creating here, it includes people who meet any of the following criteria: Solar Savings USA's main ad account and my pixel. So all website traffic for the last 30 days, individuals who have visited my website, I could simply come in here and select that for the last 30 days. So bear with me as I do this. So all traffic, last 30 days, create the audience. And then I'm done. So here the system is populating, right? So originally what we had is we had an audience that we pulled from thin air. That audience happens to be performing very, very well. So we want to take that audience and we want to create some additional audiences to target, because our focus now is to scale it, is to run additional advertising to some additional audiences, starting with a base that perform very well, so that we can actually continue to generate leads and hopefully generate leads cheaper, right? More targeted. So that is the creation of the custom audience. So I want to recap that real quick. Scrolling on over, click on custom audience, or create an audience here. You can do it with a customer file, website traffic, offline activity, engagement. These are individuals that have actually engaged with any of your advertising. So if I clicked on that, I have people that have engaged with a video that we ran, right? And I didn't run any video. This is all just still imagery. Video is super powerful, and I'm excited to run video imagery for this one campaign. I got to pull that together. That's on my to-do list. I'm excited about that because typically video, when it's served out there, is a cheaper ad. Right? So if you are able to do that in the proper way, you can affect your costs considerably. The lead form is one that is highly targeted, because bear in mind, this particular ad set was ran to a particular audience group, and they were able to interact with the lead form where I asked the questions and qualified them, etc. They enter in their information, the information that I'm asked for, but some of their information is already pre-populated, and all of that stays inside of the Facebook ecosystem. We're not sending them to an external landing page, so it's very, very powerful. Here, this one, create a list of people who have opened or completed a form in your lead ads or Facebook or Instagram. Now we're running these to both Facebook and Instagram because that's the targeting that I set for this, right? So there's ads running to the Facebook desktop. There's ads that are running to, the right column, etc. Whatever the targeting is. Not only that, but Instagram as well, Facebook and Instagram. So this is a really, really engaged audience. It's going to be a small audience, right? Probably less than 1,000 because I've only been spending $10 a day. So individuals that have actually interacted with my lead form, but think about it, that's a very, very targeted audience. Individuals that were interacting with the lead form. They either opened it or they completed the form. If they opened it, right, maybe they got distracted for whatever reason, but there was an initial need for them to open it. There was something inside of them that made them open it, right? So with that being said, these individuals I trust are going to be pretty targeted to target and retarget again, right? So what I'm going to do here is select on that, and what I did is I already did that, right? So if I go ahead and click on this, you'll notice here, include people who meet any of the following criteria, anyone who opened the form for, and I'll search for my page, Solar Savings USA, and then I'm going to search for the specific form, which the form was the solar patio form, right? And then I'm going to go ahead and name it. Now I've already done this. You'll notice here, it's grayed out. It's behind the scenes, but past 30 days lead form retargeting. I'm just walking through this to show you how you would do that, right? So I named it past 30 days lead form retargeting already previous to hopping on this video. So I'm not going to, duplicate my efforts here. I just wanted to show you how that is done and the thought process behind that. What you end up having here is the original audience group that did really, really well. That's generating leads for us right now at $5 and change per lead at a $10 budget per day, which is great, right? So I took that information and I created a separate audience group that's even more targeted. This particular audience group is everybody in this audience that interacted with my lead form in any particular way, right? So I can retarget them in advertising. And I like that a lot. But more than that is the ability to actually take this. And because I said, if you think about it, individuals that have already acted or reacted to your lead form from the audience group initially that was doing really, really well, it continues to do well, that's going to be a smaller audience, right? And I want to spend some real money here to scale this, because I fancy myself as having the ability to sell leads, all over the country for this example, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the small audience group that is currently being populated, and I want to take that and, of course, move into the lookalike, which is where we want to be anyway. Our goal is always take something that is working well and get to the point where we can create, not only take the one that's doing well and scale it monetarily so that the leads can continue to come in, and we watch the data and we make sure that the ROI is there and that it makes sense. But we want to create an audience group that's much, much bigger, that most closely matches the one that is actually doing very, very well. For those of you that have been running Facebook ads, it's not rocket science. You guys have seen this, a little bit, and you have some familiarity with it. For those of you that are running solar sales teams or independent solar salesperson or whatever, you may not really have a firm grasp of this. I'll try my best to explain it. So, with that being said, you have the ability now to create or select a source, right? The source is choose a custom audience or a page. You can't do this with a saved audience, but you can do it with a custom audience, and that's what we created, was a custom audience for individuals that interacted with the lead form. So I'm going to go ahead and type in PAST, and automatically what happens is it shows up. It is a custom audience. I click select. Now, I'm going to select on United States here because I'm going to target the country. And with that being said, now I have an audience group, a potential audience group, that is most similar to individuals that actually reacted to the lead form in a campaign in an ad set that has performed very, very well at $5 per lead, right? Can you see how that might be very, very powerful to test? And with that being said, I can actually click on the advanced options and I can create, Facebook's going to allow me to create 3 different audiences with one click. A lookalike audience in the past 30 days that interacted with the lead form, and that's 2.15 million people. And that's a 1%, right? So that's the most targeted amount of data points that match what has worked for you already in the past. The secondary one is 1.2, past 30 days, 2.15 million people. A little less targeted, but still very, very targeted, at 2% max of the population, as well as here, 2.5% past 30 days lead form, right? That's 6 million people. So here we have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We've got over 10 million people that we can actually target, right? If we wanted to, that most closely resemble individuals that have already reacted well to what we've put out there. So I'm going to go ahead and create all 3 of these. And what's going to happen here is Facebook is going to start to populate the data, right? And because these audiences are saved, when I go to duplicate or run or create another ad set and I'm searching for an audience group, I don't have to think to myself, well, what are the interests, that are going to work for me? I've already figured out interests that are going to work. I hit the ball out of the park on the first try with this one campaign using the methodology that I trained in my training. And from there, now I'm starting to stack the blocks, the building blocks. I had a foundation, which is a good audience that actually performed well. And now I've created other audiences to target. And I'm excited to spend some money here to go ahead and garner some additional leads and find out what those numbers come in at. It's all a test, but this gives you, it kind of gives you a path, right, of understanding of what to do next in order to test so that you can start to scale, right? So this is just one audience. And basically I'm taking the one audience and creating this from the one audience. Now, I have campaigns. I have, ad accounts that have hundreds of these audience groups. And yours will too, eventually, if you stay at this long enough. Maybe you don't have a need for that. Maybe you're an individual solar salesperson. You're looking to make as many sales as possible. So you could probably spend $10 a day and generate 30-something leads over the course of the last 30 days and be happy with that. I don't know what position that you're in, but regardless, it's a very, very powerful tool. So if you guys have not, for those of you that are watching this, part of the group, you're on the fence, you just kind of lukewarm, does it really work, etc. I would urge you to take serious consideration at purchasing and moving into the full training like others have. I've had people that are generating leads already, people that have struck deals with other solar companies, and they're in the process now of providing leads to those solar companies. I'm really excited for those people. I am doing a fair bit of hand-holding. I take 3 days out of each week to do one-on-one training sessions with the individuals that have opted in. I'll be doing that through September. And then I'm going to market pretty heavily this because I feel like this is, something that is very, very needed. But, you are the early adopters and, individuals that have chosen to move forward. Thank you for that. I'm enjoying the experience with you. I will be posting more into the group. This is basically an addendum. The next thing that I want to talk about, another question that I keep getting is, people that are generating leads now, they don't want to manually upload those into their email client. How do you flow those over in real time to your email so that they fall into the drip automatically? I'm going to follow this up with that video. But if you have any questions, reach out to me. Find me on the Facebook group. Hit me up via chat, etc. My phone number is out there on the interweb, and you can find me pretty easily. So, yeah. Trying to think, is there anything else? Yeah, just to recap, let's look at it one more time. These are the numbers, and I'm really excited about these numbers. Solar patio, moving over into the ad set specific to that. 33 leads at $5.66. That's pretty good. And so now we're in the process of scaling it as an example for you guys. So anyway, once again, Henry Melindy, thank you for being a part of the group. Thank you for your questions on all the interactions, etc. I hope that this is helpful. I'll probably add this as an addendum to further, just to put more information out there in the full training. We did cover it already in the full training, but I wanted to be more specific about it because I'm getting the question about scaling. And, you could slow scale by just changing the budget at 20% per day. You can actually, if those numbers hold true for you, you can select on this, duplicate this, create a different one altogether, and start out with a higher budget, maybe $100 per day. Only if the ROI is showing consistent, which obviously ROI is showing very consistent here. I can definitely deal with $5.66 per lead, for my business as I work these, for the purpose of selling solar with my pre-negotiated relationships and pricing here in the state of Florida. So I'm happy about that. I think you guys could be happy about that as well, because that's a pretty good cost per lead. Anyhow, that's it for now. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.